class 9. In this video I will start or I will discuss a new chapter from economics, and that chapter name is People as Resource, lesson 2 from economics. My dear student, before starting this chapter it is very essential to know about the people as well as the resource. Here people referred is or with human beings or the population of a country. And resource, you know very well, resources are those through which we can fulfill our requirement or need. But my dear student, you know very well, the resources which are very essential to fulfill our needs and requirements, these resources are provided by nature on the earth surface. But these resources cannot fulfill our requirement without using the skill and technology. Here there is a question mark. What is the question mark? Question mark is that from where this skill and technology will come. My dear student, this skill and technology will come through the human being or through the population of a country, which is observed as people as resource. So here I am going to take people as a resource, people as a human resource. Now just see the two aspects about the people as resource. Now see, first of all, we can take the people as the assets or the wealth of a nation. And in other hand, we can take people or the population of a nation as a liability. You know what is the meaning of liability? Liability means responsibility, liability means burden. So here I can ask a question, when the human resource will be asset and when the human resource will be liability. When we invest or when we give good training, good education or good medical facility to the people or the population of a nation, then what will happen? That population will be observed, that human resource will be observed as an asset of a nation. But if we are unable to provide good medical facility, good education and good training, then what will happen? That particular human resource will be liability or burden on a nation. That is why it is very essential that if we want to use the human resource of a nation, it is very essential that we should make them assets, not liability. They will be asset through the good educational facility, good training and medical facilities. Here I want to tell you that several times we use that population as a positive aspect and population as a negative aspects. When we see the population as a negative, in the negative aspects of population, we see or we say that for a big population there is a need of food, there is a need of lots of resources. But when we discuss the population in its positive aspects, then we find then when we give a good education facility and other things which can make the population as an asset, then it is observed as the positive aspect of a population or positive aspect of the human resource. My dear student, you know very well that without human resource or without people, a country cannot run, and a country will run when the human resource of a nation is well educated, well trained, having lots of facility which make a human resource or which make the human resource of a nation liable to do all the things, not the liability. Now here I will discuss with you that here we are discussing the people as the working population. You know very well that the growth of a nation, the progress of a nation, the development of a nation is dependent on the population. When the population will do work, when the population will do or will engage in the production activity, when the population will engage the production activity, then what will happen? That particular production will increase the growth of a nation or will move a country on the path of development. When the population is doing in the production activity, no doubt it will increase the national income of a country, and that is why this particular population is known as the working population. And the activity of the working population will no doubt affect the gross national product GNP, and it will define, or through it we can define the growth of the development as well as the progress of a nation. Now here you can understand the importance of the people as a resource. Now here you may see that investment in human capital gives positive return. If we give or if we invest in the form of education, in the form of good medical facility, in the form of training, then what will happen? This particular human being will be converted as a human capital. And then what will happen? In the future, they will give the good result or the positive return, which is very good or positive for the growth of a nation. Now I am going to discuss about the human capital formation as well as the physical capital formation. Human capital formation is observed as the formation of a human being or the formation of the human resource when we invest all those things or aspects, good education facilities as well as the training and medical facilities in the human resource. Then what will happen? A type of capital will be formed, and that capital is known as the human capital, and in gross it is known as human capital formation. When the human capital will be formed, then what will happen? That human capital will be able to use the natural resource of a nation. And then what will happen? Then the physical capital formation we can see how the human capital will use the natural resource of a nation, and that natural resource will give the good capital formation regarding the physical resource. And this all will happen when we invest maximum for the formation of human capital, and this human capital will form the physical capital. It means there is a type of relationship between the human capital and physical capital. The formation of physical capital is dependent on the formation of human capital, and the formation of these two capital is dependent for the growth of a nation, for the development and progress of a nation. Now see, the next point, human resource is superior than other resources. What is the meaning of that? My dear student, there are various natural resources on the earth given by nature on the earth. We can see them, but if we want to use them, for the using of such natural resources, there is a need of what? There's a need of skill, technology and ability. These all natural resources will be converted in good human resources, or will be converted into resources. But how? When the skill and technology of the human resource will be applied on the other resources. Without the human resource, there is no meaning of other resources. That is why human resource is superior than other resources. Why? Because due to the presence of skill and technology and ability in the human resources. As I am telling to you that investment in human being is very important, and regarding to this particular statement, now I will give you the two very example in the form of two cycles, the virtuous cycle as well as the vicious cycle. My dear student, you know very well, I am going to discuss about the virtuous cycle. So the virtuous cycle is a type of cycle. It will run from first point or from beginning to end. But how we can discuss this virtuous cycle? It will be discussed from one generation to another generation. If the parent of a child is full of ability, well educated, having lots of training and having good medical facility, and if they know the importance of education, then what will happen? They give such type of good facility, or they will invest such type of good facility in the form of education, medical facility and training to their children. Then what will happen? A generation, or a good generation, or a advanced generation will form the next good generation, or will form a advanced generation. Then what will happen? A type of cycle will be formed from the educated parents to the educated children. But here we find, if the parents are not educated and they have no idea about the goodness of the good education and other facility, then they will unable to give the good education to their children. Then what will happen? A type of vicious cycle will be formed, where the disadvantaged parent will provide a next generation that will also the disadvantaged. So here we find the importance of investment. After then, I will give you a very important example of Japan. My dear student, there is a lack of natural resource in Japan. But in Japan, human resource is very able. Japan has invested lots of facilities. Japan has invested lots of things on the human resource in the form of education and health and other facilities, so that what will happen? A good human resource will be formed, and that human resource now is able to use the natural resource, and that natural resource which is formed in the that is not the efficient natural resource in the Japan, but due to the technology and ability of people of Japan, they can use the maximum use of the minimum natural resource, and it gives a good result in the form of rich Japan as well as the developed Japan. My dear student, I have discussed this all things related to the people as resource. I hope you understood this video, and regarding to this particular discussion, I will ask two questions to you. Question number 1, what is meant by people as resource? How is human resource different than other resources? I have told you these all things. The second question, what does a virtuous cycle created by the educated parents mean? Explain. Now you have to write about the virtuous cycle in this particular question. I hope you will write answer of these two questions in your note copy, and I hope you understood this video. Thank you very much.